Hey, it's an early show today, and I will explain why in just a moment. So I'm actually starting the Daily Dope an hour early. So let's get the festivities rolling because the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, Jeff McAleer once again. And of course, I am your host here at the Daily Dope. And I also happen to be the Grand Poobah of the GamingGang.com. So welcome aboard. It is hump day. It is Wednesday, May 9th. So I am starting the show a little bit early today because one of my buddies from back in the day, back from high school, and I don't know, about 10 years after high school, is in town from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I have not seen my friend Ed in about, probably about 22 years. So I am going to go hang out with him today. He is downtown, so he's downtown Chicago, so it's about an hour and a half from where I'm located, and that's with moderate traffic. So I want to try to get out of here before rush hour starts to hit. Otherwise, it will take forever to get down there. So pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. I've talked to Ed a few times, and of course we communicate on Facebook, but I have not seen him in person in over 2 decades. So pretty cool. And Ed was a big gamer. So if you watch the show regularly, then you know when I've talked about running Call of Cthulhu, the core group was always Elliot, Ed, and Paul. So it'll be good to see Ed. I don't think he does much gaming anymore, but you never know. I will find out. Anyway, do want to mention that chat is available through YouTube, and it is not on screen. Kind of keeps some of the oddball comments at bay. But I do keep an eye on the chat, and it's through YouTube. If you want to say hello, you got a question, comment, or if you want me to take a closer look at something when I do the unboxing of Helios Expanse from Greenbrier Games today, feel free, chime in, and I will respond. Kind of quiet on the news front today, I have to admit. There's a bit of news. Yesterday it was jam-packed with news. News segment ran about a half hour. That will not be the case today. But I do want to start off with a Kickstarter for a pretty fun-looking game of werewolves, and it's actually wrapping up its extremely successful Kickstarter run in the next couple of days. In fact, I do believe it ends tomorrow. And I've got the dope on Growl. There are werewolves among us. We'll stab each other and try to avoid getting bitten, but when a human receives their third bite, they secretly become a wolf and turn against us. Ooh, I hate when that happens. Growl is like werewolf, aka Mafia, but as a quick 10 to 15 minute card game for 4 to 10 players of all ages. I will have a comment about that in a moment. The cards in your hand reveal whether you are a human or a werewolf. Humans turn into werewolves if they get bitten 3 times. Everyone gets to bite, stab, heal, and give gold. So we all have power, not just the loud people. It also does not require a moderator or a phone app in order to play. There is it's about 2.5, 3 minute video from the Kickstarter that I do want to share because this actually looks pretty fun, and it's at a pretty friendly price point, too. So kick back and let's watch.
I love social games. I used to play Werewolf, aka Mafia, when I was younger, but I found as an adult I didn't have the time or the right game group.
Hi, I'm Joey Vigor. My new game Growl is really special to me. It's the same feel as Werewolf, but only takes 15 minutes to play, and works with large and small groups. Someone among you is a werewolf, and if you get bitten 3 times, you become one too. In Growl, you don't play cards, you give cards, publicly.
Here you go, Hallie.
Thank you.
So every single player has knowledge and power over the game. Charms cancel bites. Wounds hurt you, but salves cancel wounds. There's special night cards that pop up, and that's when wolves bite their neighbors and humans stab each other with pitchforks. But it's anonymous, so you have to talk about what happened in the night and who you think might have turned into a wolf.
I got bit.
Oh man.
If all the players are growling at the end, then wolves win. But if even one human survives, all humans win, even the dead ones. Growl actually inspires really fun conversations that you don't normally get to have with your friends. It gives you a reason to get together. The base game is very simple and fun, and I have a bunch of bonus cards in the Howly Growly box that expands the game to a deeper and more rich experience. And for people who like to keep score, you can track gold between games and crown Wolf King or Wolf Queen at the end of your game night.
Oh man, so many good times we've had. We play this at conventions, we play this here with multiple different people, new people. It's a game that's super easy to learn, super easy to play, super quick.
This is probably the most tense 10 or 15 minute game I've ever played in my life.
I sat down and played this with a group of 6 other people, 4 of whom had never played a game of Werewolf in their lives. And after a brief 2-minute explanation, we were off to the races. It was a fun experience for everybody involved.
So that's it. Thanks so much for peeking into my life, and good luck to you guys with your own. Making games has been an amazing experience for me, and I really hope to bring some of that joy to you.
Let's play again. Let's play again.
I have to ask, when we see some of these Kickstarter videos and then you've got the people that are like, oh, crazy about the game, that always leads me to believe those are really not gamers, like serious gamers. I don't know. I mean, when we're around the table playing a game, yeah, sure, we'll do some high fives and stuff like that, but we're not so animated. I don't know. Still looks like a pretty interesting game, and you can score the base game for a $16 pledge, or you can also receive the more substantive Howly Growly for a $24 pledge. Do want to point out that Growl only runs through tomorrow night, so if you're interested, be sure to check it out ASAP. And if you notice, there is the web address down below. It's a tiny URL, because this isn't actually coming from a company. It's not from an established company. It's an individual. But I got to point out, I want to say it had an $8,000 goal, and it's at about $190,000. So it doesn't need to be from an established company now, does it? So anyway, speaking of established companies, word just broke that AEG's hit Love Letter series is moving to Z-Man Games, and I've got the dope from the latter. We are thrilled to have Love Letter join Z-Man's diverse catalog, says Steve Kimball, head of studio at Z-Man Games. That is the title they say they've got him with. Head of studio sounds kind of odd. This gem of a card game packs a lot of fun in a tiny box or velvet bag, and fits perfectly with the many other acclaimed card games that have been a hallmark of the Z-Man brand. I'm excited to work closely with Sajai Kanai, I think that's how it's pronounced, to help Love Letter reach new audiences and realize its full potential. Love Letter is a quick deduction game, in case you live under a rock and you've never heard of Love Letter, in which players will carefully use a cast of characters in the castle to carry a message of love to the princess. If you can successfully carry your love letter to her before your opponents catch you, then you can obtain her affection and ultimately win her heart. It's a little more abstract than that, honestly. Come on. Love Letter and Lovecraft Letter have been a pure joy to develop and share with our customers, says John Zinzer, CEO of Alderac Entertainment Group. We would like to thank Sajai Kanai, like I said, I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, and our partners at Japan Brand for entrusting us with the smallest but most valuable of treasures. Our friends at Asmodee have the capability to take Love Letter and Lovecraft Letter to even greater heights, and we are excited to watch the games make this transition. We are sure that everyone who has sought the favor of the princess will be delighted with Asmodee's stewardship of these great games. So, from what I also understand is not only is Z-Man, which of course is a branch of Asmodee's huge conglomerate now, not only are they going to produce the Love Letter line from here on out, both the established games and those that they may make in the future, they're also going to take over distribution of all of AEG's stock of Love Letter games. This seems kind of strange. You usually don't see something like that. Now, you may see where something happens where a license runs out. So, for an example, when the license for Call of Cthulhu expired for Cubicle 7 Entertainment, they liquidated their stock. They put everything on sale because Chaosium and Cubicle 7 were going their own way. So that's not unusual. What is unusual is to have a company take over the stock of a game line that's already been produced by another company. I don't know. This sounds a little bizarre. I like Love Letter, and we definitely dig Lovecraft Letter. It's my favorite, and I know it's my nephew Cameron's favorite of all the Love Letter games. But I don't know how much there's left to this design. You know, this is kind of getting into that beating a dead horse area, kind of like Catan in my book. I mean, how much more can you drain out of that design? I don't know. This is, like I said, this seems kind of odd. This almost seems like a falling out between AEG and Japan brand. I don't know. I don't want to insinuate that, but it just seems weird. This is unusual. This is an unusual transition as far as gaming goes. Anyway, I was just talking about Cubicle 7, and I've got a news piece about him because another supplement in Cubicle 7's Adventures in Middle-earth is on the horizon, and I've got the dope on Eriador Adventures. So get ready to mispronounce a bunch of Middle-earth stuff. The action-packed set of adventures takes your company around ruin-haunted Eriador. I think it's Eriador, actually. Let me grab a sip here. Well, it's always dry down here in the Duct Tape Studios. It's just how it is. And I hear Pinky is kind of chiming in a little bit. She's a little antsy again today. Weird. That cat just never shuts up. She just won't get in the game. She won't come anywhere near the camera. She won't sit on my lap. Smokey, she'll jump all over the place, all over me. Never says a peep. Every once in a while she does. Anyway, back to the actual news piece. This action-packed set of adventures takes your company around ruin-haunted Eriador and is the companion volume to the Rivendell Region Guide. Children kidnapped in the night, unusually cunning trolls, a mysterious caravan, the fate of a company of hobbits, the legacy of the Dunedain, and an evil awakening beneath the Barrows. 6 new stories set in the ancient land of Eriador. 6 adventures that need a company of heroes to undertake them. Eriador Adventures contains 6 ready-to-play adventures. How many times do we want to say 6, guys? Come on! For adventures in Middle-earth. Complete scenarios that can be played separately or as an epic series spanning a number of years. All adventures are set in the years prior to 2977 and take place in the land surrounding Rivendell. Eriador Adventures complements the background and rules material contained in the Rivendell Region Guide. Delve into the ruins of overgrown Fornost, walk amongst the cairns of the Barrow Downs, and venture to the lair of the Witch King of Angmar himself, the ancient city of Carndum, if you have the courage. There is no release date yet. There is no page count info yet. Although it should be very, very similar to the One Ring supplement, because we do see the One Ring supplements get translated over to Adventures in Middle-earth. Usually takes about a year and a half is what I've seen so far. But strangely enough, I don't even have an MSRP, so don't know when this is arriving. It is coming. In fact, the news just broke this morning about this new supplement on the horizon. And I've said it once, I will say it 1,000 times. Cubicle 7 has done some fantastic work with J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Silmarillion. What is it? Unfinished Tales? Isn't that the other book too that were actually unfinished tales? So really, really dig everything Cubicle 7 does. So if you are a fan of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, as well as Middle-earth, you're doing yourself a disservice by not picking up the Adventures in Middle-earth supplements. Cool deal. All right, sticking with RPGs, my final news piece. If you're looking to bring the Cthulhu mythos to your Pathfinder campaigns, Petersen Games has you covered, and I've got the dope. Sandy Petersen's Cthulhu Mythos is the most comprehensive guide to including Lovecraftian elements in your Pathfinder role-playing game. Written by the author of the groundbreaking Call of Cthulhu RPG, my all-time favorite, and developed primarily by James Jacobs and David N. Ross. This massive 512-page tome contains over 100 monster stat blocks, dozens of which are Cthulhu Mythos monsters that have never been described for Pathfinder, including new rules for interacting with 25 different Great Old Ones and Outer Gods. They are much more than a simple encounter. This tome is much more than a mere bestiary, though. Inside you'll find new rules for insanity and dreams, 40 new spells and 30 rituals, a new magic rule set, dozens of Mythos items and artifacts, dozens of Mythos cults detailed, and 4 new player races from Lovecraft's universe. Dreamland's cats. That is amazing. I do not think I have ever seen a game that brought Dreamland cats as a player character option before. Mythos ghouls, Gnori, and Zoogs, as well as new character options, professions, feats, and race options for them. If you like Cthulhu, Pathfinder, monsters, and madness, you need this book. I don't know if people really like madness. I don't know. Honestly, you could snag the over 500-page Mythos goodness right now in PDF for $19.99 over at our friends from Drive-Thru RPG. Gotta admit, 500-page source book for $20 in PDF these days, that is a darn good deal. I have seen some PDF core books for games recently clocking in at $30, and it's like, come on, folks, it's a PDF. So yes, 512 pages of Mythos goodness for $20, big thumbs up. And as always, I always point out, if you are going to go visit Drive-Thru RPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banners to the Drive-Thru sites, and if you happen to make a purchase, we'll get a small portion. And I'm telling you, all those purchases add up. They really help keep the Gaming Gang and thus the Daily Dope around, because usually it pays for our hosting every month, and we do not have cheap hosting. You can't have cheapo hosting when you pull in 80 to 90,000 unique visitors a month. So anyhow, all right, so that is it for the news today. As I mentioned, I'm pretty pumped up. I'm going to go see my buddy Ed Ruprecht. Pretty cool. Elliot Miller, who, if you watch the Daily Dope, you hear me talk about Elliot all the time. He was trying to be able to come with and meet up with Ed as well. Looks like he can't pull it off, so, which is sad, because I haven't seen Ed in 22 years, and Elliot probably hasn't seen Ed in over 30, maybe 32, 33. So pretty wild. And unfortunately, he's only in town for today and tomorrow, only a couple of days. So anywho, all right, so I'm going to get into the unboxing in just a sec. But coming up on the last 2 shows of the week, plus beginning next week, I am going to take a look at, I'm not taking a look at it, I'm reviewing it tomorrow, the core book for The Dark Eye from Ulysses North America. I've been kind of hinting at this a little bit as I've been pointing out that this is coming up on tomorrow's show. Some really cool stuff, some kind of odd stuff, different stuff that we really don't see in too many role-playing games. So stay tuned for that, because I'm going to share some thoughts about the Dark Eye core book. And there have been quite a few people who have been emailing me at mailbag@thegaminggang.com saying that they are looking forward to learning more about the Dark Eye. Because it's only been, what, the #1 selling fantasy RPG, or maybe just RPG period, in Germany for over 30 years. So then on Friday's show, kind of keeping a little bit of a theme here with the Dark Eye, I am going to unbox and take a first look at Aventuria, the adventure card game, which is set in the world of the Dark Eye. And I have heard this is pretty good. One of our viewers who watches pretty much every show, Drew, had mentioned in chat that it's a really good game, really enjoys it. So that's on Friday. And then on Monday, I just got this in the mail. I am going to, this came yesterday, I'm going to unbox and take a look at Renegade from my pals over at Victory Point Games. It's for 1 to 5 players. As far as I understand, this is kind of like a cyberpunkish card game. So that should be pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so moving right along. I am going to be taking a look here at Helios Expanse from my pals over at Greenbrier Games. It's designed by Sean Richard McLeod. I think that's how it's pronounced. With art from Henning Ludvigsen. It's for 3 to 5 players, ages 10 and up. Plays in about an hour per player. I had misspoke before when I was talking about how this was coming up on today's show. I thought it played in an hour, and then as I looked closer, it says it plays in an hour per player. So 3 to 5 hours? This might be a pretty dense game. I have to say, it was pretty funny because I had mentioned that to Cameron, my nephew, and he said, wait a second, he said, that's a pretty small box for a game that's going to take 3 to 5 hours to play. And I had to laugh. I said, Cam, back in the old days, you can get a war game that came in a Ziploc bag that was like that thick, and that might be an 8-hour game. So don't judge the time to play a game based on the box it comes in. So I want to point out that Helios Expanse is not going to arrive in stores until the beginning of next year. So I thought that was kind of odd because this looks like a finished product to me. Don't know, not positive, but it is in shrink. I do not have an MSRP yet, but my good pal Julie Ahern from Greenbrier told me that as far as she understands, it will be priced below $60. More than likely, probably right about $50. So do not hold me to that or her to that. That is just kind of what she's heard through the grapevine. All right, so let's move on over to the other camera here. So, and a little bit of glare coming off here, but I'm going to be taking this shrink off in just a second. So Helios Expanse is, from my understanding, it's a 4X game. So it's a science fiction 4X game. So you're going to explore, you're going to expand, you're going to exterminate, and you're going to play as the X-Men, right? So that's your 4Xs. Okay, not really the last one. And let's take a look at the back here. So it says, Helios Expanse, you know what? I'm going to take the shrink off because I'm getting some glare right on the flavor text back there. So let me open this up. Make it a little easier to see. Now I think there's standees in here for some reason. You know what? I don't believe this has been on Kickstarter. So it's possible this is another prototype, because if you recall, just the other day, well, I don't have it right. Oh, here it is. Just the other day, I did an unboxing and took a look at Barbarian Battlegrounds, which is coming from Greenbrier Games. This one's coming, I want to say, if I remember right, it's July or August. Sorry, because I gotta be honest. I look through so much gaming news and all this other stuff. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of when something is going to be released in the old noggin here. But I thought, if I remember right, I think this is either a July or August release. So this was not in shrink. So this is close to the finished product, not exactly the finished product. So it is possible that is the same case with this, because I do recall seeing miniatures for these ships that are supposed to represent your race. Don't know for sure, but I'm sure I will find out. And once I learn more, of course, I will share that on a later show. All right, anyway, so the description. Helios Expanse places you in control of an extrasolar civilization competing for galactic supremacy against its rivals. A group of 3 to 6 players colonize habitable planets, research technologies, and build a military to wage war. The civilization that colonizes the most planets will emerge victorious and rule the galaxy. It says, you are a faction of humanity hurtling towards an unknown planetary jackpot. Jackpot, baby! With centuries of old grudges against the other key players and ships filled to bursting, program your card actions in advance and play out each round. Explore the board using movement, expand your empire by colonizing planets, exploit your advantages by moving up the technology track, and exterminate your competitors by moving up the military track. And it says Helios Expanse is for 3 to 6 players is an hour of fast-paced gameplay. All right, so this is what threw me off, right? So right here, it's saying it's an hour-long game. But if we take a look here at the stats, it says game statistics on the side. It says 3 to 6 players, 60 minutes per player. So that's kind of weird. That's what's kind of throwing me off about how long does this game play, because it's conflicting information. And that's why I recall when I did a news piece, obviously, about Helios Expanse, and I had gotten some info from Greenbrier, and I had thought it's just gotta be an hour game, right? But then the side of the box said no. All right, so I'm taking a stab here. This is a prototype, because usually game companies don't like to put just brown paper in their games. So yes, I believe this is a prototype, which would be pretty easy to figure out, seeing that this game is not supposed to arrive, on the market until the beginning of next year. So I really do think this is either going to go straight to market, or maybe this is going to go to Kickstarter. I don't know, but we are not looking at the finished product. That is my guess. And if someone from Greenbrier wants to jump on and comment over on YouTube or on the Gaming Gang page where this video is, to let me know that if this is, oh yeah, no, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get that brown paper. Feel free to chime in. All right, so we got some standees. All right, so we got some different tiles. Got a bunch of cards. We've got some circular discs, some wooden discs. I'm going to guess that maybe these are used to track things along the, well, maybe not. The cubes probably track stuff along the tracks, because I was going to say that's pretty large to be utilized as putting it on a track on a board. All right, we got some standees here. I believe these are the starships. All right, relax, Pinko. Pinky's chiming in again. And then we've got the board, and we've got the rules. So let me grab a sip here real quick. As I take a sip as we listen to Pinky just caterwaul for no reason at all. I don't want people to think that I terrorize this cat or I torture this cat, and that's why she's making this noise. She's just like, I say it all the time. I think she thinks I'm talking to her when I'm actually talking to you folks. All right, so we got the rule book here. What do we got? 16 pages? Yeah, 16 pages. So we're going to talk about the components. So we got a double-sided board, huh? So there may actually be some options as far as maybe difficulty or length. So we got blue actions, green actions, orange actions, purple actions, red actions, 10 factions, 5 player aid cards, 10 subterfuge cards, 25 damage cards. We got a bunch of cubes, a rule book. Yes, I know there's a rule book because we're holding it. Tokens. So these are, oh, those are asteroid hexes. Okay, so that's what these are. Spaceship standees and tracker discs. Okay, so those are tracker discs. The end of the world as we know it. So it looks like colonization of our star system was doomed from the start. Doomed, I say. All right, so we've got, here's the setup. Oh, maybe it's two different, maybe these, I think the planets, yeah, the planets are on the board. So it's not as if you're revealing tiles so that the galaxy or universe, whatever, turns out to be unique every time you play. Looks like planets are already on the board there. So it's showing our setup. Showing it looks like some cards are going along on there. Object of the game. No one on any ship remembers a person alive. Who could tell of someone who came from the Sol system? The past is dead and biofueled. All anyone thinks about is the burning need to move forward and conquer the system of Helios 6's planets. To win, you must gain supremacy in the new galaxy. To attain this goal, you will race to colonize more planets than your opponents without having your colonies and spaceships destroyed. So we've got a sequence of play. So there's mission planning, mission operations, then a status report. So it looks as if you'll have these different cards. You're going to have to play these cards and play them in advance. Select them in advance and then reveal them is what I'm thinking. So we've got mission planning. Mission planning example. There's an example of the first turn. That's cool. Always like when we get some examples tossed in here. Then we got phase 2 is mission operations. That must be when you start taking care of the cards that you selected. There's status reports, so it explains the action cards. So we've got colonies, military strength track, technological advancement track, or I should say technology advancement track. Greater than, less than, greater than or equal to. There you go. There you go, folks. Get those little math icons in there. Aggression, blast, deploy, invasion, maneuver. This is looking like this might be like an hour-long game. Maybe a little longer. Nothing I'm seeing here would lead me to believe that this is a 3 to 5 hour game, like the box kind of leads us to believe. All right, so we've got terraforming, research. Can't have a science fiction game nowadays without some terraforming, right? At least this is just a little kind of side thing. And don't get me wrong, I love Terraforming Mars. I think it's an awesome game. I enjoy it tremendously. I play it solitaire too. It's just I'm seeing a lot of games with a main terraforming element, and it's like, oh yeah, that's super unique now. Here, this is just one action that you can perform. So we got training, a ruse, recon, explanation of damage cards, trackers explained, talking about military strength. So it doesn't look as if you've got like fleets and things like that you're going to send off. It looks as if your military power is just going to be represented on a track. So And I would take a guess maybe some of these actions are only available if you are so far along on the track, either the military track or technology track. So that's just kind of a guess. There we go. There's the technology advancement. There's initiative track. Okay, it's determining who's going to be the first player. It's talking about the game board. Oh, we got a wormhole. That's nice. Hexes with asteroids. Planet sectors. It explains the faction cards. It's all Americans. Was it Almericians? We're the Almericians, baby. That's right, we're all from Texas. Yeah. Well, nobody remembers anybody from Earth, so it's not going to be Texas. Maybe it's Texarkana. So we've got Asia Pacifica. We have Ceres, Equatorial Emirates, Europe nations, Ganymede, Luna, Mars, the sorority. Okay. All right. Okay, so they come from the moons of Jupiter, I guess, and Titans. So these are the different factions, because I believe what's going on is that humanity did colonize planets in the Milky Way, and then it all goes wrong. So now they're off, like way off in a different galaxy, I think, trying to find new homeworlds and looking to beat the hell out of all the other factions looking to do the same. All right, so then we've got some more examples. Okay, cool. Hey, look, an ad for Barbarian Battlegrounds. There we go. That looks like that should be kind of a fun game. I did the unboxing of that on Friday. It is one of the games we're hoping to get played this weekend. That as well as Remnants, which I did the first look at yesterday as well. All right, so then we got the glossary here. So that is the rule book. Let's pop that over here for a sec. Then we got the map. The game board, I should say. I am so used to, back in the day playing, various different war games and things like that. Oh, we always referred to it as the map. We never referred to it as the game board. Yep, obviously enough, I can tell by how this has been put together that this is a prototype. Because these are just kind of like stickered on. Okay, so we got the beta. Oh, here we go. Now we understand why it's two sides. So this is the beta game. So this is for 4 to 5 players. And we're going to see here, this is probably for the 3. Yep. This is the alpha. Right, so we see here, we've got the military strength. Yeah, so you are using these discs. Looks like you got 3 of each color. So I wonder, let's take these out real quick. So let's say for an example, I tend to play red. I don't know why. It's not as if red's my favorite color in the world. I don't know. Okay, let's pull this down a little bit so I'm not blocking off the track up here. So I would take a guess you're probably going to use your trackers here. So let's say for an example, we got it like that. Oh, I see it's going to show for military strength. So I was kind of correct. Certain things, you're only able to do certain things if you got your military strength at a certain level. Just like looks like the technology advancement is the same way. So here it's showing on a 2, advanced aggression. On a 3, advanced research. 4 give you +1 hand size. 5 is advanced deploy. 6 is advanced invasion. Nothing for 7. And then you've got 8, 9, and 10, which says it requires weapons engineering, which I see is over here on the technology advancement. So here we see technology level. Well, nope, nothing for 1 over here. So technology level 1, you get to move 2. 2 is moving 3. Then you got advanced training. Move 4 +1 hand size. Advanced terraforming. Advanced blast. Move 5. Weapons engineering. Advanced shields. And then 10 is you probably don't even use use human bodies anymore. You just have advanced to the point where you're just beams of energy, sentient beams of energy. I'm kidding. Obviously that's not what's going to happen. Right, so then we got the different planets. And that's kind of cool. They're all unique. All these planets look unique. They're not just the same planet repeated umpteen times on here. Guess these are possible asteroid locations, is my guess. Do not know for sure. So that is that side. Now let's take a look here. Yeah, it looks like the 4 to 5 player game just simply has more planets. Oh, I was gonna let me see if I can sneak this up here. Let's see. Yeah, I can fold it this way. Here's one thing I did notice that's a track on the bottom part of the board as well, and that is initiative. So I'm taking a guess. You use the 2 trackers for military and technology, and then you probably have a tracker down here that shows what's your initiative. Maybe. I don't know. Because it looks like there's a turn and a round. Huh, weird. So you're gonna... Let's take a closer look. Looks like you kind of track the initiative this way, and then the turns this way. So it looks like it might only be 5 turns. And 5 rounds to each turn. Taking a stab, but that might be how it works. Or vice versa, right? Because, once again, I'm an old school kind of guy. Turns were usually, okay, you do the different phases, whatever you do in a turn. Like a round would be part of a turn. And I think that kind of comes about from like even role-playing games, right? But it varies. You'll see game designs where it's like, oh, well, no, the turns make up a round. So it's a little odd how that works. Right, so we got the board. So let's take a look at some of these cards. So there are a bunch of these cards, and we're supposed to have these different action colors. So we've got Mars. Okay, so here we've got a couple of player aids. Let's see. It's training research. Okay, so remember we got different kind of like blue, red, green actions. All right, so these are the... Looks like these are the factions here. Looks like these are kind of mixed up. Because it said there were 5 player aids. There are what? 3 right here? Yep, 3 player aids. Anyway, I don't know if everybody gets like a deck of certain cards with these different actions on them, or what. I believe these damage cards, well, maybe not. Because it shows... Because they all seem to have the same backing outside of... Well, yeah, even the factions have, like, the backing. Oh, but it says factions. Duh! Hey, Jeff. How about looking at what's in the middle hex? What's written there? So they all look the same to me. I don't understand. So, okay, so these are subterfuge. It says player aid? No, just says player aid. So it's going to tell us 5 rounds. Each round has 3 phases. So it kind of breaking down exactly what you do to both sides. 2 sides of that. Okay, so we've got actions, got factions. These are also actions. I would think, it's just a possibility. I don't know for sure. But I would think that there might be something to kind of differentiate between these. I'm not necessarily saying that you got to completely change the color of the entire backing, maybe even change the color of the text, because factions and actions is pretty darn close when you're kind of separating these cards out. So I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just tossing that out. Okay, so these are all actions. Okay, so we got more subterfuge. There's the other 2 player aids. Factions. 2 more of those. Got some more actions. Just trying to kind of sort this out a little bit. What was that? Okay. These are all going to be actions from here on out. Oh, nope. See, as soon as I say that, something else pops up. Okay, so those are subterfuge. So we've got all these various different actions. So I don't think this would all be one big deck. I would think that the players are going to have certain cards. Well, I don't know. We've got these blue ones. Let's see if we got more blue. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what. How about these are probably color-coded by the discs, right? So that's what I thought we would see. I thought we would see a deck for each player, because my understanding from just kind of looking at the rules there, it appears that you're gonna secretly select the actions you're gonna be playing and place them down and then reveal them. So for an example, it looks like there's 2 terraform cards. So maneuver, terraform, deploy, training, research, invasion, blast. There's another terraform, another maneuver, invasion, and aggression. So that's why I think each player, so if I were the blue player and I'm using these tokens here and I'm using this standee here, this blue one, this is my deck. This is my deck of cards that I'm going to sit there and be like, okay, let's say for an example, I get to play 3 actions or something like that. And I don't think this is your entire, I don't think you get to choose from all of these. I think you have a hand of cards from this, because there was an indication on the board at a certain military level and certain technology level, you get to add 1 to your hand size. So I'm taking a guess, you may only get a certain number of cards in your hand, and those are your options available to you. That is a possibility. So that is, these are the different actions that are available. So then we have damage, and I think there are more damage cards. I think it said 25 damage cards. So it's like each damage card in your deck is -1 victory point. Okay. So how do you get... I wonder if these are put off to the side. Even though we've got it does say actions on it. I wonder if these damage cards are put off to the side. Maybe they go up like, on the board like that. And as each faction takes damage, they have to take one of these cards. Almost kind of like a deck building kind of mechanic. You sometimes see where certain deck building games, you have to take these kind of like damage wound cards, and they go into your deck, and they're basically, when you draw your hand, it's you're kind of getting screwed from utilizing a card because that damage card is in there, and you have to try to call that out of your deck again. That's a possibility. I don't know. Seems pretty interesting. This does seem like a pretty interesting looking game. But yeah, it looks like the damage cards are all the same. They just say each damage card in your deck is -1 victory point. All right. So I will actually delve much further, obviously, into the rules and that before I play it for review. I don't think I'm going to jump on reviewing this ASAP. Simply because it's not going to be available until early next year. So, like I said, I'm not sure if this is actually going to be to Kickstarter or if it's going to go straight to production. It might be going straight to production, just like Barbarian Battlegrounds is. Then again, maybe not. Because as I mentioned, I seem to recall they had some miniatures that I saw models for miniatures. And they were not 3D sculpts, I don't believe. I believe they were actually finished little miniatures. So we've got the different ships. Yep. So these are the standees for the ships. So the finished product might include the little miniature ships because they look kind of cool. They had 5 different unique models for these ships. So as I can see, these stand up like this. So I don't know why. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought one side had 2 stars in the circles, but no, it turns out there's 4 on both sides. So that's cool. So that's that. And then we've got these asteroid tiles. So one thing I noticed, there aren't any dice to the game. So no dice involved. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 10. Let's see. Yep. So there are 10. Looked like there were more than 10 asteroid areas on this board here. Yeah, huh. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. All right, so what are these subterfuges? So we got Recon Ruse. Okay, so each player, yep, that's exactly what's going on. I can tell you, well, I was 99% sure looking through those cards. Yep, everybody's faction gets their own deck. But, strangely enough, when you play this, that's gonna tell the other factions, oh, they're up to something sneaky. So, cool. This does look really pretty neat. Interesting. A little abstracted, right? So you're not gonna have like event cards and stuff like that, but seems like pretty cool. Kind of Euro style 4X game. All right, so that was pretty much all that's in it. So let's put all this stuff back together here. So we've got the board. So we've got the game board. We've got the standees of the ships. We've got the bases for the standees. I kept seeing these are standees. They're just bases. Bases for the standees. Jeff, what do you got, dummy? We've got the tracker circles. So we've got those. We've got the asteroid hexes to mark asteroid belts. We've got the faction cards right here. So it looks like each of the factions might have like a special ability. So we got supercharged ballistics, colonization chests, asset fusion. Yep, so that's kind of cool. Oh, that's nice. So it kind of gives them a little something different. So I wonder, I would take a guess that you can have the players either choose a faction or you can randomly deal a faction out to the players, and it's like, well, that's who you get. That's who you got. Then we've got the player aids. So we got 5 of the player aids. I have to say, it's cool that there's more than 5 factions. I like that. Sometimes a game that's going to have, say, like this game is 3 to 5 players. They may say, okay, well, here's 5 factions. I mean, granted, the factions aren't making, huge differences in the game, but each of the factions does have a special ability, and there are more than 5. Look like there's, 10 or 12? So I like that. I appreciate that, because that's pretty cool. Because a lot of times in a lot of games, it'd be like, oh, it's for 5 players, 5 factions. Maybe they toss in an extra 6th faction. A lot of times, not a whole lot of variety. We've got the subterfuge cards, and then we've got all the different action cards, which obviously enough are going to be broken up by color for each of the players. And we also have these damage cards too. So we got those. Pop those all in there. Pop those back in. Oh. All right, Debbie, how many bags do I want to use for these? Oh, well. Then we got all these cubes, which I honestly don't know what the cubes will be for. Might be tracking down here too, but there's quite a few of each color. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe they represent when you colonize the planets, because I didn't see anything sitting there saying, all right, this planet, you know, there's no counters or anything to indicate who owns the planet, so I'm taking a guess that's what these cubes are for. And then we've got the 16-page rulebook, and that is what we find when we take everything from the Helios Expanse prototype outside the box. I'm sure these are not the finished components. Anyway, as I mentioned, this looks really cool. This does look interesting as kind of a Euro-y, kind of a Euro-style 4X science fiction game. So interesting. But as I pointed out, it's not coming out until early next year. I will touch base with Julie to see if this is just going straight to retail or if this is going to Kickstarter. And then depending on that is when I'll get a review out. Now, I'm not saying, okay, well, I'm going to wait until October to review it. It's just I've got other stuff that's out now. Say, for an example, like, say, like Renegade, right? Which I'm going to do an unboxing on Monday. Or, like, Barbarian Battlegrounds, which is coming out, like, July, August. Of course, I want to get reviews of those out sooner because I want people to know, hey, is this a decent game? Should I pick it up? Or, yeah, okay, well, I kind of agree with what Jeff said. It's all right, or what? Usually if a game is terrible, I think folks already know. A lot of times I don't end up doing a review. Usually I'll ask the company who sent me the game if, hey, you want me to go ahead and really bash this game? And more times than not, they'll say, no, that's okay. That's cool. You did an unboxing. You got us a little bit of, you got us some play on that. But anywho, that is today's show. On tomorrow's show, I will mention once again, I have to rearrange all this stuff that's all stacked up off camera. I am going to review the Dark Eye core book from Ulysses North America. And, you know, it's funny. This is a huge book. This is, what was it, 400? Yeah, well, it's about 400. There's a big index at the back. But the funny thing is, when I first got this doesn't really look like it's a 400-page book, does it? This is kind of the, this is the digest size, because I know there's the big hardcover. And if you caught my first look at the Torg Eternity, or the review for Torg Eternity, you saw that the hardcovers that Ulysses North America does are just awesome. But of course, they're pricier. So these smaller digest sizes, which my understanding, Ulysses Spiel actually came up with, and a lot of other companies actually copied them, got all the rules and stuff like that. And this shows on the back it's $25. But I thought I saw MSRP on this is like $19.99. So that's pretty good for a 400-page book. And when I do the review, you'll see that the quality of this is really, really nice. All right, so anyway, when you're not watching The Daily Dope, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Well, by now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. I will be back tomorrow. So until then, enjoy your hump day. And as always, thank you so much for watching.